And they go, it doesn't even, they're like, it feels like that. He's like, I can't get over what I saw in week 1 when reconciling either of these two teams. And he goes, because it didn't feel like they just got schemed to death. He said it felt like they actually got their butts whipped.
Yeah. I mean, Florida State was the much more physical team.
Yeah. And what I tried to explain to him, and maybe this goes back to Nebraska, maybe it doesn't, is when you're confident in what you're trying to execute, it allows you to be more physical. It gives you the opportunity to be more physical when you have a sense of confidence. Is that right or wrong?
Well, I listen, it's a perspective.
Okay.
I don't know if it's right or wrong just because you asked me a question earlier. I thought it's a good question where if you don't execute the scheme, you don't really know, but you do need to feel good about
the scheme going in.
About what you're doing.
Yeah.
So,
but if you don't execute it at a high level, you don't give yourself a chance to see if it was a good scheme or not either.
Yeah, but so I mean, not to get all coachy, but there's just some things, right, where I'll say, listen, you got to read the face. Like if I'm a linebacker, second level, and I can read face masks, like I know they're trying to scoop me. Like if I'm getting scooped, there's a way I've got to play it. I know as a D lineman, if I see 2 down blocks, like I know I got to get down. I can't get vertical. So that's not a stunt. That's not anything other than fundamental. So sometimes I have to pit just basic fundamentals versus what it is that we're actually trying to accomplish.
So basically the things that you would do regardless of what the scheme is.
You have to, that's a
right.
separate.
Like this is your baseline execution.
Yeah.
Regardless of what's being called.
Yeah, I see those 2 guys leave. Yeah. I know I better get my bunda in their hip pocket.
So here's my question then, right? So
they're not teaching you
right to get vertical when
guys.
Yeah. So if I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay, I've got my baseline.
Like they're not teaching you to miss open throws.
Right. Right. 100%. Yeah. They're not teaching you to overthrow Dane Key when he's running down the like I get yes. They're not teaching Isaiah Hunter to not go high point a ball when he's open down the sideline. Like whoever it is, right? So you've got your baseline of execution regardless of what's being called. And then layer on top of that the actual scheme. So is it fair to say that there is a level of mental toughness or mental stamina required to continue your baseline level of execution when you don't love what's being called?
Okay. Ask me one more time.
Okay. So with your baseline level of execution,
mental stamina if I don't like what's being called.
And then you've got the scheme on top of it.
I'm trying to think what that would the players know. So, okay. I think there's a thing where it can be too much.
Okay.
I don't know if there's like if they're cognizant enough to say, "Oh, I don't like that."
So let me put it this way. That's fair. That makes sense. Like in real time, you don't know.
I don't. You know what I like? That's interesting. So there are times where I'm thinking, "Hey, let's pressure this week. Let's have some fun and turn them loose, or let's just let's just stay basic. This, so they can play fat. So there are those things, and I think they know. But I don't know if I said if we're talking and we said, hey, let's introduce 3 new things, which we would try not to do, would they be like, man, this game plan sucks? Versus, I don't feel like I have a good enough grasp of it. Do you know what I mean?
So let me ask it this way, because maybe their feeling about the quality of the game plan isn't the right way to put this. Maybe their belief in the preparation process.
I don't believe Nebraska went into this game plan and they thought, you know what, let's only get EJ X amount of touches.
Sure. But
now, if that were the case, I think those guys would realize, hey, I'm not in the game plan this week.
Yeah. Or let's say, okay,
that's different.
Let's say it's a little vanilla on like the defensive line and what they're trying to do in terms of pressures.
Okay.
Would some guys notice, hey, it doesn't feel like I'm going to be given the opportunities to get loose, and then they get outside of themselves a little bit, trying to get vertical when they shouldn't.
I could see that.
Like trying to do too much because the game plan doesn't allow for what they want to do.
I could see that. I mean, I've had players say, "Hey, listen, can I get on some pressures this week?" Or why don't you blitz me? Or
I mean, it happens for basketball. Like, hey, well, how come I'm not getting any screens to get my shots up or whatever? Right?
That's a thing.
That does a lot of times affect a player's execution of their basics, whether it should or not. That's a thing.
That's a thing.
That's human nature, right? It's like when you talk about big men, it's like, hey, you got to feed them a little bit so they play defense better. Mm-hmm. And you're like, well, those things aren't related, but they are.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
I think you could clearly tell. Minnesota was targeting a couple guys.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right? Like, it was a concerted effort. Hey, let's go at this guy. Mm-hmm. Let's run at this guy.
So if you're not taking, let's say it seems like they didn't take Minnesota seriously enough. Is that fair or no?
Is it fair? Hey, Shane.
I want to make sure I'm not oversimplifying.
Hang on, Shane. Okay. Remember those? Do you have a couple clips ready for me?
I do. Yeah, let's hear them.
Funny you asked this question. This is us, real time, yesterday morning. Mm-hmm. All right, this is the first one. Go ahead, let it play, Shane.
They didn't match Minnesota's juice, and I'm telling you,
you got the energy.
Sure as I'm sitting here, like they just think when Nebraska comes to town
that they can punk them.
Yep, that's the most
that sucks.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
because like whatever else, Nebraska got punked.
That's the part that really hurts my feelings. We can make it about a lot of other things,
and there are a lot of other things.
Minnesota just simply played.
They whooped them
harder.
Yes, and that is the most frustrating thing.
Distractions, my ass. That team knows, right? Whatever Coach Rhule told them, the team believe. Don't give me that distraction. Chris.
No, that was a Minnesota thing, I thought.
That's low-hanging fruit for fans and media. Listen, I get the human. You know what's just as much human nature? Because I heard this a lot. What's human nature? Like you hear this, that, and the other. It's human nature. Why can you'll naturally be? You know what else is human nature? Mm-hmm. When somebody's trying to kick your ass, you fight back.
Yeah,
that's human nature.
Yeah,
Shane, play coach, especially in that sport. So don't give me that. Play coach.
I'll tell you exactly how I really feel, Mitch. They were excited to play. They were fired up. There was juice on the sidelines. There was energy. We came out early on, and it's just the football wasn't good enough. And I think once Minnesota started to assert their physicality, I don't know that we were ready for a fist fight. I think we thought it was going to be a little bit easier. That's sad to say, but that's why it falls on me. A lot of times get up here and say this is my fault. I told the team the entire week that this was a tough physical team and this would be a battle. And I had even assistant coaches like, man, why do you keep crowning them? I'm tired of that, man. Like you better respect every team you play, especially when you're at Nebraska. Like people are getting excited for you. So I'm not letting us off the hook by saying, hey, we weren't, you know what I mean? Like that's just like they played better than us. Credit to them, credit to them.
Yeah, so they didn't take them seriously enough. I think that's a fair assessment.
We can make it about a lot of other things. I had no idea. I told you I haven't said one word to him since he made the comment about did me wearing white affect my job and it being a BS narrative, except he actually said the words. Mm-hmm. There are just certain things that come when you do this long enough that you can see. You can make it about scheme. You can make it about a lot of other things. But at the end of the day, mm-hmm. It's a sport that you're afforded the luxury to fight back. Mm. You just are. You don't have to take it. You don't. It's arguably the most beautiful part of that game, of the game of football. You get to solve problems with aggression. And so you can chicken or the egg it, and I'm not sure on your answer. Right? Mm-hmm. I'm answering it to the best of my ability. If you think Christian Jones has not asked me, Coach, man, this is a 3-4 front. I'm in pass coverage. Like, I want to get back to rushing the passer. Mm-hmm. I understand. I do. We've had those are real conversations. Yeah. So there is a part of what you're saying about if they don't receive it well, then you're going to maybe play a certain way. It's our job to, number one, put them in a position to have success. But I also want to coach myself into having options too. So this may be how we have to play versus how you like to play. We better make sure we have the right guys to do that too.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense.
Do you
understand what I'm telling you?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. Because it's a good question. I'm just telling you, at the end of the game, when you play football, you're afforded the luxury to fix it if you want to.
Let me ask 2 questions here. I think they're related. Okay. Number one, let's say the coaches, the assistant coaches, and myself were right. Let's say Minnesota actually wasn't very good, but they kicked Nebraska's ass, right?
Yeah.
Let's say you're watching film, and you're like, man, this team isn't very good. As a coach, how do you convince the players that this team can still hurt you?
Just depends. I mean,
because that's a real problem, right?
Yeah, 100%, man.
Right? Because I can look at Minnesota and I can say, hey, out of the teams Nebraska's played, out of the non-Akron, Houston Christians, I thought Minnesota was the worst of those 4 teams.
The safest way that I can answer the question is
5 teams. Sorry,
what we always talk about, whether it's me or our staff or my personal life or whatever. Right. Either I'm being the best I can be or I'm not.
Okay. Fair.
Right. So that was my response. That was my mini meltdown to Brian, right? When he said, well, the scheme is blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, sure, man. Like,
yeah.
Okay.
But you still have to try and operate at high level.
That will be for the coaches to decide. Then you ask the follow-up question. Well, if the players don't like the scheme,
is it harder?
Or is it harder for them to function at a high level? And so I go back to the individuality of it.
Yeah.
Either I'm operating to the best of my ability, even with what's told to me to do. Right? I think a law enforcement or, firemen or people that don't have a lot of wiggle room but have to think under duress. Right? And an easy way to look at it is, if I'm you work for the fire department, right? You see a couple families, the house is on fire, a family sitting outside, and you got a couple of options, right? I can be, and I wrote this down, right? Because there's all sorts of responses, right? If I want sympathy, right, it can affect the way that I'm going to do my job. Hey, what happened? Who's at fault? Is it like, I agree with how you're assessing it. Is there anybody else left in there? Oh man, I feel what you feel. It may affect how I do my job. If I have like apathy or I'm kind of indifferent, I can get the information. I can assess it, but I still know that I have a job to do. Right? So I'm not as much paying attention. Just give me a lay of the land. Hey, where's the hot spot? This, that. Like, it's going to affect how I approach the house, given what my mentality is. So you always, whether it's empathy, sympathy, or apathy, you need all 3 to function as a human. But situationally, it's, am I operating at peak performance? So you get the game plan.
Yeah.
How do I feel about it? How is it affecting how I'm going to go about?
Am I feeling sorry for myself? Am I apathetic to it?
That's what I'm telling you.
We say apathy is a bad thing sometimes, but
it's not.
It's not. Yeah, not in this context, right?
Because I'm not going to be.
I'm not going to be the emotion,
and it doesn't affect my decision making.
Yeah.
The problem is when we hear coaches talk or we assess players or we do stuff like that, we give it our attributes, as though that's how they should function.
Right.
It's not that way, though.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay.
So here's the second question, the follow-up. Let's say you've gotten through the week, you didn't take Minnesota seriously enough in prep, and then you get punched in the face when you get to the game. How realistic is it for players to be able to turn it around after the game has started? That's the fight back part, right?
Yep.
So
That's
Like, what is
that's
that?
the solve problems with aggression, which makes sure you have to have the right guys, which makes sure that like your culture has to breed that.
So, because if let's say you're a defensive lineman, since we've used that as an example a couple times, let's say you're a defensive lineman and you're thinking, I should solve problems with aggression.
Yeah, at some point, whether Judy's on the move or he isn't, he has to take it personal that they're going at him.
Here's the question.
Does
No,
that
for
make
sure.
sense?
For sure. If I'm getting picked on, I'm going to take that personal,
Okay,
right?
Yeah.
So
yeah. At some point,
here's the
Donovan
question.
Jones has got to be like, hey, man.
Quit getting across my face.
Or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Right? At some point,
Yeah.
Marquez Watson Trent has to be like, listen, I got to read. This guy's trying to – I need to take this on a certain way.
Third level guys be like, hey, I'm going to stop being put in a position where a guy has a two-way go before I get to the hole.
Yeah.
Right? So, but let's say you're I don't think Nebraska did this for the most part in terms of solving problems or trying to solve problems with aggression and it backfiring. But theoretically, let's say you're a defensive lineman, you're trying to solve problems with aggression that leads you to getting too vertical. Is that also an option? Like losing your fundamentals in the search for aggression?
It happens.
Right?
Yeah, it happens.
So, like, it's a pretty fine line still.
Yeah, it happens.
Okay.
But
that's
for
the most part,
that's where it happens.
That's where coaching comes in.
Yeah.
But also for the most part, I would say outside of maybe defensive linemen getting too vertical, I didn't see Nebraska's defense being overly aggressive and that being the issue.
Yeah.
Fair?
It wasn't.
Like, it didn't seem like they were making aggressive mistakes. It seemed like they were just making mistakes.
So anecdotally, I think I told this, and I think I said this to our guys,
Mhm.
right? Where I said, hey, I was doing the breakdowns for the long run.
Mhm.
God, this feels like Michigan.
Yeah.
Feels like I'm saying the same things with Michigan. Even
I think you texted
the X's
me about
and
it later.
O's, the whole deal.
Yeah.
It's the same run that Ray had again for Maryland.
Mm-hmm.
It's very similar deal.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, anecdotally, it seems like the runs of 25 yards or more that go for touchdowns all have a common theme.
Yeah.
Anecdotally.
Yeah.
That's not – there's two things that can happen to your question.
Mm-hmm.
You can say, well, why don't they just play it different? Or I could come back and say, listen, this is just base fundamentals.
So you need somebody in there that can.
And if you've seen it before, you can fix it as a player.
Yeah.
You might say, hey, why don't you just play it a different way? They clearly aren't getting it done.
What I would.
That's the given.
So what I would.
You understand what I'm telling you? Like, that's
I do.
the give and take of why we assess it the way we do as a fan base.
There is another option, though. I would say, hey, if that's base fundamentals on how you play that, I feel like we've learned that guy isn't going to do it. Put somebody else in. That's my other option. That's usually my go-to, if I'm being honest. Like, if I don't like how something's being played.
You think that doesn't make it doubly difficult for me?
No, I get it. I'm not trying to put you in a bad spot.
You're not. Like, I could listen.
You know what I mean?
I've done a lot worse.
But like,
I could own it.
And it's not specific to what makes it difficult for you, because there's been lots of other things where I'm like, hey, if that guy isn't going to do the thing that is pretty basic and as far as your football game plan, go get me somebody that will. Because I said this last year. Hey, I'm already losing with them. I might as well try and lose without them.
Listen. We'll see what happens against Nebraska.